appointments are lined up.
You waiting for somebody in there?
Got an appointment.
And it's not about what you want to hear, but what you need to hear.
It's not personal. It's strictly business. It's time you and me had a private talk, Winger. Step into my office.
It's Step Into My Office with Michael Lombardi. Mr. Lombardi, we'll see you now.
Mr. Lombardi, will see you now. Nick Bosa, reigning Defensive Player of the Year. He's been holding out since the start of 49ers camp as reps negotiate what's expected to be a massive contract extension. While negotiations have been amicable, we've got some urgency to get a deal done now with Week 1 looming. John Lynch, when asked about it, said, quote, "I don't like the situation. Since our tenure here, we haven't had a holdout anywhere near this magnitude, so it's something I'm not comfortable with." You and me both, John. Michael, how would you advise Nick Bosa to handle what's now crunch time with Week 1 against the Steelers looming?
Well, I think every negotiation gets done with deadlines, right? I mean, that's just how it happens. The more time you have, the more you contemplate, well, we can get more. Let's not settle. Deadlines create the urgency. And I think, Nick, you have to decide in your mind how much practice time you need to be the best player. You're going to be a rich man. And you're going to be you're going to take care of your family and your kids' families for the future. So you've got to decide what's going to be best for you to maximize the value of this contract and perhaps get another one after this one. So I think you have to decide that. And once you decide that, I don't think it's a hard contract to do. I think the conversations are centering around, are you going to make more than Aaron Donald? Are you better than Aaron Donald? Can you do that? And that's where we are. And so you've got three things in a negotiation: the total package, how the package is laid out, and then how much guarantees in the contract. And I think the 49ers are going to do everything in their power to satisfy all three elements. But if you want to make $5 million more than Aaron Donald, you're probably going to be sitting out a while. If you want to make a little bit more than Aaron Donald, I don't know if they're going to go there. If you want to make a little less, I don't know if they'll go there. But you're going to be in that range. I think there's no question. You just have to make up in your mind when you need to get to camp and get practicing, because time now is important.
Where things sit right now, entering the final year of his 5-year rookie deal, scheduled to get $17.85 million, but looking to get over that 30 mark. In 2 seasons since his 2020 ACL tear, combined for 34 sacks, 80 quarterback hits, 103 tackles, 40 TFLs, 6 forced fumble. The list goes on, including a Defensive Player of the Year honor last year. He is 12-1 to repeat. Micah Parsons, your favorite, at 5-1. Similar situation, another guy I'm sure who's searching for that Aaron Donald money is Chris Jones, but we're going to look at this situation from a different perspective. We have Brett Veach coming into your office, GM of the Kansas City Chiefs. Where things sit right now, he indicated on social media that he's willing to miss games through week 8, and he can, quote, afford it when it comes to the $7.5 million it would cost Chris Jones in game checks. Andy Reid told reporters there's been no communication between them and Jones' representation. Where things sit right now. Help a man out, Michael. Talk to Brett Veach. Help him get this deal worked out.
Well, I think, Brett, you know as well as I do, you've got to be really careful here, because you have two of the most selfless players on your team in Patrick Mahomes, and maybe the most selfless guy in the entire league in Travis Kelce, who you pay like an above-average tight end when we know he's a receiver and he could be making a lot more money. So you got to be really careful here, because you have guys that are willing to sacrifice for the team, and if you turn around and give this player all that he wants, how do you face those other two guys? This really isn't about Chris Jones. This is about the team. If this was about Chris Jones, he deserves to get a raise. Mm-hmm. You and I both agree with that. I mean, 15.5 sacks, 49 hit pressures. He was the best defensive tackle, including Aaron Donald last year. But I know you know this. I know you've got to have respect for the quarterback. And if you look at the success the Patriots have had through their years and why they won 6 Super Bowls, was they never disrespected Brady. They never paid him more. They never paid him the top rate of the quarterback. But they never brought anybody in on the roster and had him make more than Brady. And I think you have to be really careful here, because your quarterback is selfless. And so is this incredible receiver you have that you call a tight end. So you're going to have to navigate these waters and see where that leads you. And it may lead you to have to compensate those guys. But if Jones wants to sit out, you're just going to have to bite the bullet and let him sit out, because this has too many tangibles are related to it. There's antennas and tentacles within this deal that can impact your team in the long run.
Wonder what the impact on the field could be if Chris Jones ultimately does sit out. The win total for the Kansas City Chiefs this season, 11.5. They are Super Bowl favorites. And for Jones, 25-1, odds 7th on the odds board for him in the Defensive Player of the Year market. Let's go back to quarterbacks here, and might as well just your favorite topic, Trey Lance. After losing the QB2 battle in San Francisco, the former number 3 overall pick was traded to the Dallas Cowboys this past Friday. A player who was once worth so much to a team. They gave up 3 first-round picks and a third. He's been relegated to QB3 duties for another team after having little to no starting experience under his belt. Kyle Shanahan said he feels like he, to an extent, failed Lance in his development, but does still believe in his talent. John Lynch said he feels Lance's story is still very much unwritten. Michael, Trey Lance does not want to be the Peloton coat rack we talked about yesterday. What does he need to do in Dallas to get his young career back on track?
I think he needs to stop talking about San Francisco. It's over. Stop labeling himself a mistake, and just move forward and try to learn the Cowboy offense the best he can. He's got support from the owner, which is critical. He's got a guaranteed $5 million coming to him next year, which is critical. So he gets to reboot his career, learn from the mistakes that happened in San Francisco, take every single rep you can at scout team, take every single one, and show the people in Dallas that you can make plays. Because if you show them how good you are in scout team, that's going to give you a chance to earn more reps on second team. And that gives you a chance to put pressure on Cooper Rush. That gives you a chance to show them your talent skills. So don't talk about San Francisco anymore. That's behind you. You're not a mistake. You're rebooting your career. Jim Plunkett did the same thing. First overall pick in the draft, got traded to San Francisco for 2 number 1s, a boatload of picks, and they had to cut him. And then he showed up at the Oakland Raiders and won 2 Super Bowls with them. So this isn't the first time a quarterback has had this happen to him. You just got to reboot your career and put it behind you.
And who knows, maybe like the great Sheryl Crow once said, a change could do you good. See how life works out for Trey Lance in Dallas. This one, I'm excited for you. Makai Becton is about to step into your office. The Jets offensive tackle we know was the number 11 overall pick back in 2020, but over the last 2 seasons has gone through 2 right knee surgeries, a substantial weight gain, and is now struggling, but has been given that right tackle spot to open this season, hopefully getting healthy and taking the right steps. How should Becton approach this opportunity, Michael? He's sitting down in the chair in front of you right now.
I think you got to get back to where you were. 2 years ago, you were the most devastating run blocker, I thought, in the league. You knocked people off the ball. We haven't gotten there yet. You got to keep working hard. Like, you've just tipped the iceberg here. You've gotten yourself respectable. Your body's back in shape, but we got a long way to go. And the player that you are today isn't going to be good enough. We need you way better by November and December. And you got to keep working hard. You got to get your weight down. You got to set inside out. You can't let some guy, second team guy, beat you to the inside. You just can't let that happen. We got to set inside out. We got to make sure we protect the quarterback. And you've got to be able to keep working your lower body so you use that power to knock people off the ball. Get that second step on the ground. You know what's most important. Offensive linemen create movement when their second step hits the ground. That's why we measure 40 times for offensive linemen. We want to see how quick their feet can move. And so you've got to get better at that. You've got to stay really diligent in your work habits. And if you do, you can become a Pro Bowler. You got talent. God gave you talent. It's going to be up to your work ethic.
And Robert Saleh said something pretty similar in an interview with the New York Post. He said Becton needs to stay ahead of the chains when it comes to his rehab, his regeneration, not getting complacent just because he feels like he's back. Makai Becton played just 1 game over the last 2 seasons after playing 13 his rookie year. We'll see if he can get back on track because that offensive line could use his talent if he is playing to his capabilities.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.